26th of May, Rabbi Levitt, substituted by Rabbi Globus, Gemora.
Back.
Okay, so let's see. Lou, did you have a chance to take a look at that translation that I sent you?
Yeah,
Great.
it looks pretty similar to what we already said. I didn't read that much of it. I only had a few minutes. I just got the email a few seconds ago.
Okay, so really, it should be similar. It better be similar to what we said before because it's supposed to be saying the same thing. I wanted to do an experiment to see if it was easier to understand. And you can tell me if it really is easier to understand or not.
I don't find it's different. I think it's the same.
Okay, good. So then let's ignore it. Let's ignore it then. So where shall we start today?
Good question. Maybe we should start with the beginning of the Gemara.
Okay. Let's do that.
Okay, so Tama de Nimlach Shalo Yitnan. The reason that the Mishnah gives for not returning these documents is that perhaps after preparing them, the author reconsidered and decided not to give them to the person named in them. Ha'amar Tanu. This implies that if he would now say, give them to the persons named in them, no tani, we would give them. Va'afilu l'zman merubah, even if they were found a long time after their disappearance. Okay, so I don't get that afilu. Just because we said the implication is that he should give them, that it should be given on his say so. If it's been a short time, why does that mean that we make any assumptions about if it's a long time?
Because we would expect the Mishnah to tell us if there's a time limit.
But the Mishnah says don't give it. We're deducing that if he said give it, we'd give it. So now we're out of the realm of the Mishnah. We're in new ground here.
You know what? That's a really good kasha. Let's see what the Tosfos says. How Amar to do nosni. I like your kasha because I was trying to claim that the Mishnah should have told us, but you're saying, but the Mishnah wasn't talking about that case. If they were, so you can expect them to say it, but they weren't talking about that case. We're making an inference.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so Ha Amar Tanu Nosnin. If he said give it, then they give it.
I like the kasha. If you'll bear with me, maybe we can take a look at the Tosfos Ha Amar Tanu.
Yeah, I'm reading that.
Okay, so let's see. Let's try to see if it's talking about our question or not. Ha Amar Tanu Nosnim. Meaning Tomar, if you'll say, Nalan, how do you know you should give it? How do you know you should give it? Dilma, if you don't want to know him, even if he did say to give it, we still wouldn't give it. Why? When the Gemora, when the Mishnah said he changed his mind, Haki Kamar, this is what it was saying. V'nimlach shelo litnan u'machamaskein lo chashash lishbor v'ne'avad. Ve'achshav rotze lachzo u'legarsha. Desaver shezeu haget she'avad mimenu. Ve'amar tenu. Ve'afilu hachi ein nosin deshama ein ze gito elenafal me'acher sheshmo keshmo. Aval lo nivlach lechatchila milegorsha ve'gersha machzirin la haget l'raya. Afilu eino shala. Okay. Now I understand the one word Rashi that we learned before, where he says Akshav ha'amar tenu. There's a Rashi that says ha'amar tenu Akshav. Rashi says one word on it. He says Akshav, now. So now we understand why Rashi had to say that, because Tosfos is saying not so pashut. It's not so pashut at all. Maybe that's a whole different story here. What's the story? How do you know? Tosfos says, how do you know we should return this get to her if he says give it to her? Maybe that's not the story at all. Maybe the story is like this. He changed his mind to not give it, and therefore he didn't watch it. He didn't take care of it anymore. Lo chashash lishmor. He wasn't careful to guard it anymore because he decided he wasn't going to use it. V'ne'avad, and that's why he got lost from him. Got lost from him. Ve'achshav rotze lachzor legorsha, and now he wants to use it to divorce her with. He wants to now use it to divorce her with this very same get. He thought that this is the get that he lost. And he says
Twice.
He says, give it now. Say, what did you say, Lou?
I said he changed his mind twice.
He changed his mind twice. First, he decided he's not going to give it, and then he decided he is going to give it. And in the meantime, it got lost. And then they found it. And then he says, hey, give it back to me. So I want to give it to her now. So, but, okay, so what happens? But we still don't give it. We still don't give it. Why? Maybe this is not really his get. The get that was found is maybe not the get that he lost. It fell from somebody else who has the same name. Avalonimach. So what's going to come out? What does Tosfos want to get to? Avalonach, if he didn't change his mind, lechatchil milagorsha v'gersha machzir l'laraya filo eino shalom. So he wants to say, but if he did not change his mind in the beginning, and he actually did divorce her, then we would give the get back to her even without his permission, even if it's not hers. We would give it back. We don't need his permission. And the Gemora is assuming, so how do we, so what did we say? The way we learn the Gemora is that we're giving it to the lady. We were learning that you give it to the lady. And because he gave it, he said, hey, I divorced her. So Tosfos to say that we may not need him to do that. We don't need his tenu. Even if he says don't give it to her, we would still give it to her against his will. Maybe that's pshat. V'yesh lomer dedayik midelo. I'm continuing in the Tosfos. V'yesh lomer dedayik midelo kesani kesuvim hayu. The deal says it didn't say they were written to suvihai below nasu mikasani v'nimlach mashu shechoshe shema eno rotze atha legarisha. So the way it's written, he's learning, he makes, he has a certain inference from the way that it's written, that it implies that what? That maybe he doesn't want to divorce her now. Okay, you know what? It's very interesting, but it's not your kasha. Your kasha is coming up right now. You see where it says Ve'im Tomar, it says Vav Aleph Taf. It's the last short line in the Tosfos.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay, so this I think this is your kasha. Okay, Ve'im Tomar, and if you'll say, and if Lou will say Umi Nalan, and how do we know Vafilus Rad Merube? How do we know that we'll give it even a long time afterwards? Dilma Alter Davka. Maybe we would only give it immediately and not after a long time. Kidapari, Rebbe Zira come on. That's exactly what Rebbe Zira asks further on. The Rebbe Zira Gufe Minalan, the Yachazer the Isha Afilazman Merubet. And Rebbe Zira himself, how did he know that you should return to the woman after a long time? How did he know? Umima Pashutlo, the Baraisa Kamelzman Merubet Yoser Min Matsnisin. So Rebbe Zira over later on, he asked your kasha, he said, who says we'll give it after a long time? And then he proved that we will give it after a long time because it says so in a baraisa. So Tosos is saying, how did Rebbe Zira know from that? The baraisa was talking about that. The baraisa is just as unclear as the Mishnah. V'yesh lomar, and you could say, Demi baraisa mashma, de bizman shabal mode yakse le'ishafil zman merube. The ila alter davka peshita avu masnisin matzila memela alter davka v'im amar tenu nosnim enu meforish masnisin v'hi gufa asalash me'iran v'lo yachzir chashin l'shem nimlach. Aval rabba daik mide kasani v'nimlach v'lo kasani kasuvim hayu v'lo nasanim kenasalash me'inan im amar tenu nosnim v'hainu afilus man merubeh. Okay, so this is the law. This is getting complicated. But basically, Tosfos asked your kasha, and he said that I think he's saying that Rebbe Zira is going to actually ask that kasha in the Gemora later on. We just didn't get there yet, and the proof comes from a baraisa. According to Rebbe Zira, the proof is really from a baraisa. Rabba has a way to learn it out from the Mishnah itself. I didn't quite get it, but Rabba has a way to learn it out from the Mishnah itself. So, so what's the upshot? The upshot is your question is going to be discussed later on.
Okay, so let's wait until we get to it.
Okay, but we got a sneak preview that there's a baraisa which brings out the point a little more clearly. So there is a baraisa coming out that brings out the point more clearly. So we're just going to give them the benefit of the doubt for the meantime, having not learned that baraisa yet, that in fact is the debt. then is you're going to give the get even after a long time, and we're not afraid that it's a different get. So you want to continue on to the Gemora then, Lou, Viraminu?
Okay, Uraminahu, they contrasted. Hamevi get the avad hey menu. Let's see. The agent brought a get, and he lost it. Mitzao the alter kasher. If he found it immediately, then it's valid, meaning he gives it. Imlav puzzle. If not, it's not valid. Meaning, if he finds it not immediately, if he finds it after some time. So this contradicts the inference from our Mishnah that a lost get may be used even if it is discovered after a long time.
Yep.
Amar Rabba said, Lokasha, no problem. Khan, here, where it rules that it can only be used if it was recovered immediately. Bimkom she hashaya roofs mitsuos. It's in a place where caravans are common. Khan, over here, where we're taking the implication that it can be used even if it was found much later. Bimkom she'ein hashyarus mitsuyos. It's a place where there are not caravans commonly.
Yep. Okay, you get that, Terrence?
Yeah, so we discussed the idea that we're concerned that the caravan might have a couple with the same names.
We're concerned that, right, and we would only have such a concern if caravans go through the place.
Common.
So Mishnah, which implied that you could give it even after a long time. That's because there's no caravans over there.
Right.
And the Mishnah from Gittin that we asked the Kasha from, that was talking about a place where caravans do go through. So that's why they're worried about it.
Right.
Great. So far so good.
Vafilu bimkom she rus mitsuyos. Now, even in a place where caravans are common, Uhu shehuch saku shnei Yosef ben Shimon bo'ir achas only if it has also been established that two men named Yosef and Shimon, for example, reside in the same city. So I'm just a little confused now. Even if the get was found in a place where caravans are common,
Yeah.
it's only if we establish that there's two guys with the same name in that city.
In that city that the get was written in. I think Rashi adds that in. ואפילו
That makes
במקום
sense.
בעיר אלא כשהוחזו בעיר אחת שנכתב בה הגט. That's what Rashi says. Rashi says it in the Divrei Avaskil va'afilu b'makom. Va'afilu b'makom. That's the bold words.
Right? And what does Rashi say?
He says, a few lines down in that Rashi, he says, Kishehuchseku be'ir achaz shenechtav ba haget. It was established in one city in which the get was written.
Okay, but that doesn't help, because we started off this paragraph by saying if caravans are common.
Yeah.
What do I care about caravans? We're establishing that the risk is because there's two guys in the city.
We need both factors. We need both, because if there's no caravans, then the fact that there's two guys with the same name in a distant city doesn't have anything to do with what's happening over here. How did it get over here? We need a caravan to bring it here.
Why do you say a distant city?
Because this shaliach, he's bringing a get from place A to place B, and place B is distant. He's going to a distant city to deliver the get to the lady. And we want to know if there are shayaros that go through place B. And we also want to know if there were two people with the same names in place A, where it came from.
So you're saying the wife has moved away from the place where she and the husband lived together?
Yeah, maybe, or he did. One of them moved.
How do you presume that?
Why do we presume that? Okay, so we're talking now about this Mishnah in Gittin, which is introduced with the word Uraminhu. So the Mishnah over there says, as it's quoted here, a maybe get, someone who's bringing a get. So what's pshat he's bringing a get? Where is he bringing it from? That's what you're asking. You're asking who says that he's bringing it from a distant place. So I'll say we see it straight from the Gemora, because the Gemora made a chiluk between our Mishnah here and that Mishnah in Gittin. That Mishnah in Gittin is talking about a place that shiaras go through, and our Mishnah here is talking about a place that shiaras don't go through. So clearly we're talking about two different places, right?
No, not necessarily. Maybe the husband is just very busy, and he says to his secretary,
Yeah.
bring this to my wife.
Uh-huh.
She lives down the street, but I don't have time to go. You do it.
Within the same city.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let me see if I have a Mishnayos Gittin here. Maybe we can find it. Maybe you have a Mishnayos Gittin also. Let's see if we can get any clarity by looking at the Mishnah itself. Where is it? Gittin Sham. Gitin Sham, so Gitin Sham is Chaf Zayin.
Git Zion, let me see if I can get it.
Okay,
Okay, I got it.
great.
So let's see, Chaf Zion, Amid Aleph or Amid Base?
It looks like Ahmed Aleph.
Okay. All right, I see on the bottom, there's a discussion about finding a get in the marketplace.
Okay.
I don't think that's what we want, though.
It should be a Mishnah. It should be a Mishnah.
In a minute.
Not,
Okay.
that's what they say. They're saying it's a Mishnah.
Yeah, I see it. It's on the very top of the page. If a
Okay.
man's agent was bringing a get to the man's wife and he lost it, and if he found it immediately, it is valid. And if not, it is not valid because the get found now might not be the one he lost, but an identical get written by another man. If the agent found the get in a chafisa or in a deluskima,
Yeah,
two kinds of containers,
yeah.
or if the agent recognizes the get, it is valid.
So that's a simon. In other words, you have a simon.
Right. So it doesn't say anything here about whether he came from another city.
So this is, tell me, which parak is this in? I'm trying to find it in the Mishnayos.
It's in Kol Haget.
Parak Kolagat. Okay, so let's see, where is Parak Kolagat? Dalit is Hashaleach. Gimel. No, that's Kolget. Kolget or Kol Haget?
Kol Haget.
Kol Haget. Okay, maybe that's Parak. Maybe get Kol Get Shenechtav. Then the next parrot is called a Shaliach Get. Then Hamizakin. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time finding it in the Mishnayos. Okay, I found it. I found it. It's Mishnah Gimel in Perik Gimel. Let's see. Maybe get Bava Himenu. He's bringing a get, and he lost it. What does the Bartanor say? Bartanor says, if he found it immediately, it's still not telling us the how far away he is, right? That's what we want to know. We want to know how far away he is. It may be still in the same town, maybe he's just going down the street. That's what you're saying, right?
Right.
Maybe he's just going down the street. Uh, Um, I don't know how the Gemora knows. Rashi seems to take it as a davar pashut. It's pashut to Rashi. It's obvious to Rashi that they're talking about a different city. Most of the cases that Gita is talking about is they're talking about bringing it from one country to another. Okay. There is a case there where they're talking about bringing it within the same city, which is the case that you're talking about.
Uh-huh.
Most of the cases in Gita are talking about bringing it from another city or another country. And I don't know how we know that that's what it's talking about here. Rashi thinks it's obvious. I think we would have to learn the sugya over there. We'd have to learn the sugya and get to know why it's so obvious. But Rashi seems to think it's obvious. Why do I say that? Because Rashi here is saying, that's the Rashi I pointed to before, it's established in one city in which the get was written. So it sounds like we're bringing it from another city in which the get was written. That's where the caravan is coming from. But for our purposes, it doesn't even matter. You know what? We can learn it the way you're suggesting, and I don't think it's going to make a difference. I don't think it's going to make a difference in the sugya.
Okay, so what was the issue that we were raising that brought us to this point?
The issue we're raising is that the Mishnah in Gittin says that the shaliach has to find it get immediately, because if he doesn't, we're afraid that it fell from another shayarah. Okay, and then the Gemora further qualifies it and says that when it fell from another shayarah, it has to even so, we need that there's two people with the same names in one city. So here's the rub. Here's where we can't say what you're saying. Because the Gemara is saying that you need both. You need shayarot.
Which shayarot again?
Caravans. You need caravans, and you need two people with the same name in the city. So I was trying to learn it your way, but obviously it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's clear to the Gemara that it is being brought from another city. We can't learn it your way. I don't know how they know that that's what the Mishnah is talking about, but the Gemara assumes that that's what the Mishnah is talking about. It's an assumption the Gemara is making. We would have to leave the Gemara and Gittin and try to figure out why it's so obvious.
Okay.
But you see what I'm saying, that you have to say that? You have to say it's coming from another city, because the Gemara is saying you need both qualifications, that there are shayarot and that there's two people with the same names. So if the two people with the same names are in this city, so then why do I need shayarot? the one has nothing to do with the other.
So you're saying there's two people with the same names in the two cities.
There's two people with the same names in the city where the Shayara is coming from, and therefore
Why
we're
is that? Why is that
afraid.
relevant?
Why is that relevant? Because Ruvain is a shaliach, and he's bringing get, and he lost it, and he finds it 2 weeks later. In the meantime, a shayara from the same city has passed through, same city that Ruvain came from. So when Ruvain finds the get 2 weeks later, he can't be sure it's the get that he lost. It could be that the new caravan came along with a get from the other couple. And that's what he found.
So the two people with the same name live in the city that the caravan came from.
Yep.
Hmm. Um, all right, I hear you.
I really think that's the simplest way to learn the Gemara. What is so to the tema Avilo Munki Edish Shayar Okay, here Tosus has a different kasha. Tosus is asking a different kasha. It's not bothered by your question, it's bothered by something else. But anyway, so let's go on. Let's take it at that. If he finds it too late, if Ruvain the Shaliach finds it too late, so in the meantime, another caravan could have come by from the same place and lost the get from the other couple. So now he can't use that get to divorce the first couple. Because as we know, the get has to be written specifically for a certain woman. You can't divorce another woman with the get. It has to be the woman that the get was written for.
We're going to be out of time within a minute.
So you know what? So let's stop here. And tomorrow, Be'ezer Hashem, we're going to go on to Di'im Lo Tema Hachi.
Okay.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Great day. Thank you.
See you tomorrow. I'll be on the road again tomorrow, but I will sign in. So you'll hear me
Okay.
or whatever. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.